Watch out, this podcast may contain adult content. We're brought to you today by Altered Reality Entertainment, the creators of Empire State Comic-Con. Check it out at escomiccon.com. And now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to On the Case, an investigative television podcast with Casey and Eli. I'm Eli. Casey's over there.
What's up?
He's beautiful. He's got a beard. It's great.
Shut up.
We talk about the Game of Thrones characters that are living and breathing ahead of the final season, and then when the show's actually on, we're going to be recapping. We're going to be talking about the show as it exists, and then after Game of Thrones, we'll pivot to Stranger Things. But today, what Game of Thrones character are we talking about?
Today is not just one character. It is the collective Night's Watch, including Lord Commander Ed.
Okay, I'm going to focus on Ed primarily because I don't think I remember anyone
Dolores
else's
Ed.
name.
No one of consequences left, I don't believe.
Or John just murdered all of them.
Well,
Every named character at the wall, he pretty much murdered.
Well, I mean, or the wildlings did.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Mostly.
But let's talk about Ed. Tell me about Ed, and also the Night's Watch.
Yeah, Dolores Ed's one of my favorite characters in the Night's Watch. He's one of like the last remaining people that are loyal to Jon. After Sam leaves, Gren and Pip both die in the Watchers on the Wall episode, and he doesn't have a lot of people that he trusts, but Dolores Ed is kind of known for being dull and not very smart, but he's fiercely loyal. He's a pretty good warrior, and he's come in tight on a couple of spots. He was there at Hardhome. He was on top of the wall helping him man the defense against the wildlings, and there's a reason why he trusted him to be the Lord Commander when he had to leave, because he was also part of the people that were protecting his body, and he's the one that they sent to go get the wildlings to basically stop the mutineers from killing Jon again after they brought him back. So
I think one of the most interesting things about Ed is just how like unlikely it is that he would be a leader. Like he's just like, and you know, there's the thing about the numbered commander and all that stuff, and like if there's going to be importance there, I'm sure we'll get into that. But I can't even decide, because you said he's one of your favorite characters in the Night's Watch, and I can't even actually decide if I like Ed at all. I mean, I appreciate him being there for Jon and him, you know, showing up in the clutch. He's the Derek Fisher to Jon Snow's Kobe, if you will.
Sure.
He's like super forgettable. Like you see the guy's face, you're like, I should know him.
I mean, you've seen him since like the first season. And
Is he? I think he's in season 2. Doesn't he come back with the Rangers?
He was there digging holes or digging trenches with them at the Fist of the First Men.
What?
When
Okay,
the White
you're
Walkers
right.
come, and then him and Gren run away and leave Sam behind.
I was just trying to remember when him and Jon like actually meet and become homies.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's part of that group with Gren and Pip and Sam when they all kind of come in and they're being trained by Jon when Alistair Thorne is being like kind of a dick to him and stuff before they head out in the first season.
I don't know if I've ever really bought their friendship as much, because he's that kind of comedic relief guy where he just I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
you saying he was one of your favorite characters in the Night Watch just sparked to me in my head. I could take or leave it.
Well, I mean, he wasn't my favorite, like, when Gren and Pip and all them
were alive.
And Sam, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great Jorah Mormont, but, like, a lot of them fall off, and pretty quickly in succession.
So he's favorite by extension of everyone else dying and him still being around.
Well, I mean, like, he's part of that group, but he was, like, the least cool of the group, and now they're all dead, so he's there, and he's, like, you know, but the best part of him is that he's not afraid to die, and he's not the best fighter, he's not the best talker, he's not the best thinker, but he's a leader because he's a little bit of all of it, and he's a fun, unlikely hero.
You know, you've said, you've made me realize just now, he is a jack of all trades and a master of none. He's like, his skills are like at a solid 7 across the board, dexterity, speed, fight, like all of it.
Sure.
But
he's capable.
Yeah, he's capable.
Totally.
Yeah. And I guess that's what you need in a third. Yeah, okay, so if we do it in Lord of the Rings terms, he's like a Merry or a Pippin.
Sure.
Yeah.
He has a role to play.
Yeah.
But you don't trust him with, like, the biggest thing.
No, but if he needs to, like, sing
Hold
a
down
song
the
to a king in the middle of a... like, you're just
Or
like...
top
sure.
a tree into, like, checking out this place where maybe they're killing a bunch of trees.
Yeah. Yeah, you trust it. You trust
Totally. He can do the simple stuff.
Yo, what if it's like Dolores Ed starts whispering to all the weirwoods, and then they all come to life?
If the weirwoods come
gonna
out of the
lie,
ground,
and their
I'm
Eds-
gonna go down to New Mexico and punch George R. R. Martin.
It's amazing.
I'm like, dude,
It's not George's fault
you
at
took
this
enough
point.
from Tolkien. You didn't need to take that. That's the one part no one wants.
Hey, Casey, doesn't Ent get morning wood? Terrible.
The Sword of the Morning Wood.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. Top moments for the Night's Watch slash Ed.
Well, I think if we're talking about the Night's Watch in general, it's got to be when they're fighting the wildlings.
Defending the wall,
Yeah,
actually defending the wall.
Because you see like things you never even knew they had.
Oh,
like
the
scythe.
sickle. Yeah. Oh, just
that was
dope,
brutal and
dope.
amazing. And when it comes to Ed, I think my favorite moment with Ed is, I don't know, it's kind of a tie between when he gets left on charge in charge on the top of the wall.
Oh yeah, watches on the wall.
And he's like loose, and he like takes over, and like he's really seems like he's enjoying it. But my favorite part of anything with Ed is when they bring John's body in, and he's dead, and he's like, we're all gonna die today. And he's just like super ready to die for John, who's already dead. There's no saving him to his knowledge. But he's like, fuck Thorn. I don't care if it's 7 of us in this room versus the entire thing. Like, we got a dire wolf. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
he's like ready to die.
Yeah.
Because he's so mad about what happened to his friend. And I think that loyalty, even though, like I just said, he's not one of the best fighters, he's ready to die for what's right. And that's a great character moment for him.
Yeah, you're right. That is, I would say, that is probably inarguably his best moment from just like because it's like his story crescendo basically, because he's I think probably a worse moment for him is becoming Lord Commander, because I don't trust him with managing the grain, and or like I don't know if Ed has the mind for.
Well, they got people for all the little tasks. He just signs the papers and whatever.
Okay, he's a figurehead.
Yeah, I mean, like there's this great moment when they're like, should we seal the gate after John leaves, with Sansa to like go round up the northern houses, and he's like, don't ask me, I'm not the Lord Commander. Oh shit, I am the Lord Commander.
Yeah.
That's
He's
just
like,
Ed.
yeah.
He's like so like kind of empty-headed, but it's like, I don't know, it's kind of endearing.
Okay, any other top moments you can think of?
I don't know. Not particularly. I like the way he handles things, like with the defense of the wall, and I like that John is like in this fluster when they're at Hardhome, and he's just like in this like fight, let's keep fighting, but then like the White Walkers are coming and things are getting so crazy, and Ed's the one that like rattles him and goes, we're all gonna fucking die here if we don't leave right now. And then he like wakes him up and they get out of there, so John might have just kept fighting until he died if it weren't for Ed.
Yeah, because John is a very one-track mind kind of person. He just sees the problem, he goes to attack it.
Yeah.
Consequences be damned. So
we see that in Battle of the Bastards. He's not much of a commander.
No,
even though he's a great leader.
No, he just lucked out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna say that I think his best moment is just the way the actor looks, because I totally buy him as like his face. He just has medieval dude face.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is, but like of
forehead.
Yeah, like of a lot of the people, I just like. And maybe it's because he's not in other stuff, and so I can't picture him in different roles. Because like Lena Headey, I've seen her in all kinds of different things. So, but like for him, like just the way his hair is like long and like not greasy, but like dirty. Yeah. Like the dude just like, and this is not an insult. This is actually like he looks medieval times. Yeah. Like he just like they don't have to do much to him, and he just like looks like a dude who could be from the era of Westeros. And that's for me is like I just really buy and believe him in the world.
Yeah. They put a lot of effort into the show to make sure that there is always more of a sense of realism than there is a sense of fantasy, and I really appreciate that. I mean, these actors get in the cold, in the mud, in the rain, and it gives you a different feel than something like a Marvel movie, which has its entertainment value but doesn't have that sense of like, oh shit, I just felt that punch because this is really happening. Whereas Game of Thrones, every time someone gets their throat slit or drops off, like just every thud, every crunch, you feel it.
Yeah. Okay, so I was going to say, actually, we should move to the worst moments, but I just kind of want to go through for the Night's Watch. They've been racking up L's left and right.
Yeah.
Fist of the First Man, that's a worst moment. Craster's Keep, another worst moment. Yeah. John hanging, like, all of the betrayers. The betraying of John, like, just lots of L's. Yeah. Losing, yeah, I mean, losing Isla, but yeah, I mean, it's John's fault, but like, okay, yeah, it is. Okay, also, them not being savvy enough with like whatever Westerosi Twitter is and losing that primary election, like Thorne, what are you doing, man? You're getting AOC'd. Like he needs to. How did he lose? How did he lose to John? Like he should not have. I know people were splitting the votes. Yeah,
it's like he thinks that his experience is gonna win him it, and it's like, yeah, but did you forget that like you're a crotchety old fucking bastard to everyone through this fucking door? Like his name is Thorne. He's literally like there to be that in the story, and he does it well.
I think we missed a best moment for the Night's Watch. Looking like they're going to accept change, by letting the wildlings through and kind of like protecting them, like allowing or figuring that unity is better and that their differences aren't really that different. So that's kind of an interesting thing.
I also would say, like, if we're talking about just like small moments that are the best for the Night's Watch, is when they go back and avenge Jorah Mormont's death and kill the mutineers at Craster's Keep and free all the women there. That was really great. When they somehow giant harpoon kill a giant.
Yeah, that's a great
dude, that's a 700-foot shot.
See, because like for me, the Craster's Keep moment, for me that's kind of a worse moment because it's not the Night's Watch going. It's like Jon. It was Jon, and
it's still a group.
Yeah, and like
good,
four guys.
Good dudes. Gren was there and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I just like that they did that because they didn't have to and they risked their lives and stuff to make something that the Night's Watch did wrong right. It was a good moment for them. Yeah, worst moments. There's quite a few.
There's a lot. At least in the time that we've watched, in what we've seen.
Both mutants.
Like we've only seen so much history of the Night's Watch, but it's across the board pretty bad.
Think about this: you're at Dolorous Edd. You just got named Lord Commander, and the last two Lord Commanders were killed by mutiny.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Lord Commander.
Yeah.
That shit sucks.
They even send a mute guy to the wall, and Ted's like, nope, no, there's no mute in this entire castle. I mean, even our first moment where we interact with the Night's Watch is them getting beheaded for being traitors, essentially, for leaving the wall. But they're like, hey, we saw the White Walkers, and Ned's got to do what you got to do.
Benjen gets lost. He's first ranger.
Yeah, it's been a rough time for the Night's Watch. So let's
like no wins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So can we picture a happy ending for them? And we've kind of had a few conversations about how we think the show will end. And I think a big point of that is, will there be a Night's Watch at all at the end of the show?
Will there be a wall? I think that all depends on if the White Walkers are destroyed all the way or if they're just pushed back again. I feel like personally, if I'm a story writer, I don't want to repeat history in every single way. They've done it in some pretty historically interesting ways, but like you don't want to just push them back and rebuild that portion of the wall because then this can happen again. It's like, how many times are you going to make the same mistake? It's like you need to kill the White Walkers all the way down. And we don't know right now if the Night King will die like a normal White Walker with Valyrian Steel or Dragonglass, but there has to be some sort of way to undo what he is, his power. And I think that it will change the nature of the world, because then they could knock the entire wall down, have the stuff north of the wall just be all the north. And the north is already big enough for all 6 kingdoms to fit inside of it. You open up that extra piece of land, and it's literally, the north would be 60 to 70% of Westeros.
Yeah.
And all those people could be free, and I think that the long winters and the long summers would stop. I think it would become normalized again.
Yeah.
I think it's all part of the magical powers.
See, I can't see a world in which they'll actually destroy the wall. So this is kind of like, in my head, the happy ending for the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
And I think the happy ending is that the Night's Watch doesn't really need to exist as it had in the past, and maybe there is never another Lord Commander, or like they basically all get to retire. But what they do is that they end up manning certain castles along the wall as trade hubs between the north, because the wall's not going to like melt down. Like, it's still there. They're not going to knock it down. It's a huge, ginormous ice structure. Now, you could talk me into the Ice King dying, making snow leave, making snow or like the cold leave, which like melts the wall, which would be a little too fantasy, I think, for what HBO has on Game of Thrones. But what would be hilarious, the freaking wall melts after they kill the Night King. Cut to Al Gore. Global warming is real. Yeah. Deadpan in the camera.
An unfortunate truth.
An unfortunate truth. The wall.
I don't know. I mean, like, in the books, there's supposed to be this horn, the Horn of Winter. That Mance Rayder supposedly has, that you blow it and the wall would just come tumbling down. And the only reason I think that, I always hoped that was the way the wall would come down, is that somehow the wall would just all at once go. And that, like, it would be like an earthquake they would feel all the way to King's Landing or something. And that could still happen. Because if you don't have the horn, and they've kind of brought the horns out of the show, which is fine. There's another element to it, which is it's not just ice. It was built with ice and magic. There are spells woven into it.
You're right.
So
you could magic
a lot of people thought because Bran, when he got marked,
it
took the magic away from the cave. What if it did that with the wall? He passes through the wall comes crumbling down. People thought that might happen. It didn't. But there are other ways, like maybe if it's sort of like a Neo-Matrix thing where like there can never be one without the other. If you take the power of the Night King away, then it takes also the power of the Children of the Forest, Bran, the
Yeah,
dragons. All
is
the
he
magic
the
goes
source, or
away.
what is the source of the magic? Yeah,
And then
I
maybe
got you.
the wall will go down.
Okay, I don't see a world in which the wall will go down, but like I think my happy ending is that like the Brothers of the Night's Watch, they retire as the Night's Watch and they just become a central trade hub in the North between like when people like anyone from the North can now go freely I don't know, range or like go vacation essentially in north of the wall, and then the wall is just there to keep whatever's ice spiders as big as hounds from getting to the regular people. But then it's like this weird thing because like you could probably get a lot of like the Hornfoots and like a lot of the wildling clans to acclimate into society. Like you can say, like, hey, you have your lands, those are yours, you can come down and trade with us, bring us pelts, like let's make this peaceful.
Tribute, not kneel to a North.
Yeah. Like they can probably work something out like that. But then like the other things like the Thens, like they just eat people. So like what's that going to be?
So does like all the Thens are dead now?
Yeah.
Because all the Thens that attacked the Night's Watch are dead, and the ones that were supposed to come south, remember, told Jon Snow to go basically fuck himself at Hardhome, and then they all fucking
died up there. Okay, I just I don't know. There could be still there still could be Thens, but like this thing where like maybe this is actually a sad ending for Ed, but a happy ending for the wall. It's just that like they ultimately become border control and they're just like filtering people through the wall and like checking their papers and being like, you smelling breath. That doesn't smell of human flesh. Come on through.
Yeah, let me check your eyes.
Yeah, that was it.
I don't know. The thing that's weird is I don't want the White Walkers to be left. I want them to get completely eradicated.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's got to be. Yeah, you got to finalize it.
But also, there's got to be something going on with the fact that Dolorous Edd right now is the 999th Lord Commander. There has to be 1,000th. So either he dies and someone becomes it just temporarily before.
Samwell Tarly?
I think it'd be better if it was Jorah.
Okay. So I think this is the next thing we got to get into because instead of really happy, sad endings, the things we have to answer is who we think will be the last Lord Commander.
Sure.
And then that is all, of course, tied up in Ed living or dying. And I think looking in your eye, it's just like we both think Ed's gonna die.
I think he's gonna die.
Okay.
He's not major enough.
Let's both move forward then with the assumption that Ed dies.
Ed dies.
Yes, I would say he does.
Necessary on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just it's gonna happen. Because
the future of the Night's Watch, will there be one? And if so, for how long? And if so, for what purpose?
Yeah. Well, will they make Jon the 1,000th? Could he be one commander and then the 1,000th again, and then he when like basketball players sign a one-day contract just to retire with the team they played with, like Jon will just become the Lord Commander to deconstruct it or like
maybe
dissolve it essentially. I don't know what that looks like.
I mean, it seems like if there's someone that would be perfect for the job, it would be Jorah because his father, that was his dying wish.
But Jorah's gonna die.
Yeah, maybe Jorah
I'm just kidding. Maybe he doesn't. Well, this is the thing that I think would be kind of interesting if we want to go full circle on it, because I really like when shows do that, like when they have things mirrored in the first and final episodes, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I would love it if Jorah was the Lord Commander because just like his father, he's taking that position. And then what if we got Bran in the Aemon role and he got to be like the
Mace Train? Yeah,
because it wouldn't it be weird if he went super north again? Like I think like he could do his warging three-eyed raven nonsense from Castle Black. He's close enough to family. Sansa and Arya can go visit him. He's in the north still, and then from an elevated position, he's like I don't know. I just like the idea of like if the last shot of the show is Bran like on top of the wall looking out, and then like the other Stark kids just like walk up behind him, and it's like happy like they did it kind of thing. Yeah. When I think about it, I could see Bran as a member of the Night's Watch on top of the wall at the end.
I'm going to say this. I don't think the Night's Watch exists at the end of the show.
Okay.
I don't think the wall will be necessary. I think that...
It's not that the wall's necessary. It's a landmark. The Great Wall of China isn't necessary, but it's a...
Well, then I think they'll destroy all the gates.
Okay.
They'll just let people walk through it.
Yeah.
And then the lands north will just be known as the
northern north?
Yeah. Like the true north or something like that. Or
I like
Wildlands or
funny.
something like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be settled by the...
it'll be the 8 kingdoms then, not the 7 kingdoms.
Or it would just be an extension of the north, which makes the most sense. The north is already humongous. I don't know. Or there won't be any kingdoms.
Give me 8 kingdoms, Casey. Give me 8.
If you really break them all down, there's almost like 11 or 12 because like when they did the 7 kingdoms, they lumped like the Iron Islands and the Riverlands together and stuff like that.
Did they?
And the Crown Lands didn't have one. It was the Stormlands, yeah. So there's really like almost like 11, and if they had that one added, it'd be 12. if you think about it. If you look at a map, but I don't know. I don't think. That
Well,
that'd
I'm
be
a
necessary.
simpleton and I don't look at maps, so
like
I'm gonna
maps.
go off of what they tell me. You nerd.
Well, you just go past the mines of Moria. Wait.
Wait, different map. Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess the answer to the question then that we both think Ed's gonna die, and then we didn't really ask if the Night's Watch is gonna live or die, but you think it's not gonna exist, and I think it is going
I
to.
don't necessarily think they get wiped out as a people. I just think that the organization of the Night's Watch
Is
has
dissolved.
served its
Is
purpose.
dissolved.
Yeah, it's gone.
Gotcha.
If they ever make a Night's Watch, it'll be something like almost like a police or something that is all over Westeros, like just people that are that aren't loyal to any one house, but they're loyal to the realm. That'd be kind of cool. Like if Maesters were cops and they were just kind of all over, right? They're loyal to the entirety of the realm. That'd be kind of really interesting.
So you just gave me an interesting idea, because I've long said that I think my theory is that Daenerys and Jon leave Westeros, they go back to Essos and just live there. And I know it's fine. It's fine. But you just gave me a new idea. So what if the Night's Watch doesn't dissolve, but it changes? Mm-hmm. Because you can't keep dragons. We've seen it not work. Keeping dragons in King's Landing. So Daenerys wins. Jon's her husband. They take King's Landing, and they are now the king and queen, and they begin to rule. What if they leave the dragons in the north at the wall? And the wall becomes, Castle Black becomes like Castle Dragon. And like it's, instead of the Night's Watch, they're the Dragon Watch. Because you could have the dragons go north of the wall and eat and feast and fire whatever it is.
Yeah, unpopular theory, the dragons all have to die too.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that.
Shy.
Boo. Get that shit out of my podcast.
Magic will be gone. I think for
no, man, it can't.
The majority
no
of
dragon
magic
death.
will be
No,
gone.
no dragon death.
Because
I can't have it.
The show starts with, you just said you like things that go full circle. The show starts with the rebirth of magic.
Yeah, I don't want it to die though. It's so much more fun.
No, because the dragons can't
this
be
is sad.
around roaming free. We see what happens. Little girls get burned and shit like that.
Okay, you know what? Burrito bet right now. I say there will be one living dragon, and that dragon's gonna... I'll even go a step further. That dragon's gonna have eggs, and it's gonna show that the future of dragons is insured. That's my burrito bet.
I mean, it's pretty. I think if that happens, it's in a place where men don't rule. It'll be like in a Shy, in the Shadowlands, or maybe in Old Valyria.
Dragons ain't dying. That's my call.
I think magic has to die.
Okay, and I'm going Disney on it.
I think if you can't have all the bad magic die and leave only the good magic. There has to be balance in the world.
Just like
Force.
Yeah, no. It's so funny to me how they're always just like, you were supposed to bring balance to the Force. Well, homie, he did.
Yep.
There were like 1 billion Jedis and 2 Sith.
The rule of 2.
And he really did balance the Force.
Literally mathematical balance.
Yeah.
Just not emotional balance.
He just murdered everyone.
Yeah.
But he did do what the thing said.
And I think that's the sort of structure we're following here. I think if magic is reborn, it's because the good magic had to outweigh and destroy the bad magic. But look, we already saw the dragons are vulnerable in the fighting pits, and then again north of the wall. These dragons are gonna die.
No.
The real dragons that will live on will be the blood of Old Valyria, the Targaryens.
No. Drogon's living. They're not killing.
There won't be
Drogon.
dragon eggs necessarily, but there might
Drogon
be
living.
a baby.
Drogon living, my man. Drogon's living. I'm calling it right now. All right. Do we got anything else on the Night's Watch, Castle Black? I think we hit it all.
No, I think they're gone. I think they're not gonna have a wall to guard. At least not an intact one.
Well, hey, we went around the map in this one, but it was good. It was good.
Well, they've touched a lot of pieces of the story. The Night's Watch are a big part of the story.
Well, then, I will say, as always, this show is brought to you by Altered Reality Entertainment. They are the creators of Empire State Comic Con, happening this April 12th through 14th, I believe, is the date. And you can check out and get more information at escomiccon.com. Celebrities, artists, cosplay, more. It's Comic-Con. Check it out. Casey, who are we talking about next time?
Next time it's gonna be real fun. We're talking about the Zombie Mountain.
Again.
Or Robert Strong. If you're
Okay, cool. Well then, that is it for now. Thank you for listening. We'll be back soon.
Bye.